You got field Negroes in America today. I'm a field Negro. The masses are the field Negroes. When they see this man's house on fire, you don't hear these little Negroes talking about our government is in trouble. They say the government is in trouble. Imagine a Negro, our government. I even heard one say our astronauts. They won't even let him near the plant. And our astronauts, our Navy, that's a Negro that's out of his mind. That's a Negro that's out of his mind. Just as the slave master in that day used Tom, the house Negro, to keep the field Negroes in check, the same old slave master today has Negroes who are nothing but modern Uncle Toms, 20th century Uncle Toms, to keep you and me in check, keep us under control, keep us passive and peaceful and nonviolent. That's Tom making you nonviolent. It's like when you go to the dentist and the man is going to take your tooth. You're going to fight him when he starts pulling. So they squirt some stuff in your jaw called Novocaine to make you think they're not doing anything to you. So you sit there and because you got all that Novocaine in your jaw, you suffer peacefully. Blood running all down your jaw. And you don't know what's happening. Because someone has taught you to suffer peacefully. The white man do the same thing to you in the street. When he don't want to put knots on your head and take advantage of you and don't have to be afraid that you're fighting back. To keep you from fighting back, he gives you these old religious Uncle Toms to teach you and me that just like Novocaine, suffer peacefully. Don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. As Reverend Clee pointed out, let your blood flow in the streets. This is a shame. And you know he's a Christian preacher. If it's a shame to him, you know what it is to me. Because there's nothing in our book, the Quran, as you call it Quran, teaches us to suffer peacefully. Our religion teaches us to be intelligent, be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hand on you, send him to the cemetery. That's a good religion. In fact, that's an old-time religion. That's the one that Ma and Pa used to talk about. An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth, and a head for a head, and a life for a life. That's a good religion. And anybody, no one resents that kind of religion being taught but a wolf who intends to make you his meal. This is the way it is with the white man in America. He's a wolf, and you're a sheep. Anytime a shepherd, a pastor, teach you and me not to run from the white man, and at the same time teachers don't fight the white man. He's a traitor to you and me. Don't lay down our life all by itself. No. Preserve your life. It's the best thing you got. And if you got to give it up, let it be even Steven. The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education, Gave him a long coat and a top hat, and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control them. The same strategy that was used in those days is used today by the same white man. He takes a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent, build him up, publicize him, make him a celebrity, and then he becomes a spokesman for Negroes and a Negro leader.
Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
Can y'all hear me now? Sorry, guys. All right. Bismillah. Salatu wa salam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hatettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love, no hatred in my heart. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. I apologize for that snafu with the sound, but we're back now. Okay. So this topic tonight is something that we have been seeing for quite a while. We talked about last week about the grift that is known as the red pill Muslim grift. We talked about that last week. And we mentioned that certain personalities are definitely going to take advantage of gullible Muslims doing reactions and eventually becoming Muslim or whatnot. Just like the times are old. It ain't no different. You know, Allah, as it was, He talked about these people who became Muslim simply to destroy Islam from within. Or perhaps for some sort of devious, dubious purpose. So now, we have been seeing this thing unravel with just pearly things in the Black Klanosphere for the better part of 2 months. And very predictably, it has taken a turn that is definitely awful, but not really surprising. Not really surprising, not in the least. We understood very well that the polarization within this left-right paradigm, where black folk are the pawns, and only the pawns. Even you can't even say black people are the pawns. You can say the black people are the checker pieces. That is how they play us. And you may recall that just Pearly, the thing that put her into the spotlight for months, is that Just Pearly, with her largely black audience, and I mean largely black, okay, her largely black audience, who made her very popular on YouTube, mind you, while she's talking to black women on being Tatianas and whole culture and feminism and all this kind of stuff. All the things, all the trigger words that she kind of parrots from Kevin Samuels. We said way back last year that this woman, you know, is a closet white supremacist. Turns out she's a full-fledged one. And then she invite this Nick Fuentes character. Now, family, Nick Fuentes is what? He is a Hispanic, correct? Half Hispanic, half Italian. And when we hear Hispanic, we think of some sort of racial group that is perhaps indigenous in nature, but that's not what Hispanic is. Hispanic is much like an Anglophone or Francophone. Hispanic is just a way of saying that people are culturally Spanish. And you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with this Texas shooter? Well, let us read directly from what the Texas shooter has put forth, shall we? Let's read what he got to say. So over here, we see that disturbing posts show neo-Nazi shooter plan to target Texas mall. Okay? This man's name is Mauricio Garcia, and his posts are filled with bigotry towards men, Jewish people, and racial minorities. Now, if you see this guy, those of you who have already seen the pictures of this dude, he is very clearly of indigenous ethnicity. You know, he's a brown person. He's an Indian, a native Indian, okay? But yet, somehow, he managed to get swastikas and all kind of craziness tattooed on his body and became a full-fledged white supremacist. How did he do it? Well, let's read, shall we? The gunman who opened fire on the Allen, Texas shopping mall on Saturday, killing 8, appears to have posted neo-Nazi content on his social media site, OKRU, where his profile picture was a smiley face with a Hitler mustache. The existence of the profile, which glorifies murder and Nazis, was previously revealed by New York Times, which reported investigators are looking into the account. Bellingcat researcher Arik Toller identified the account on Monday, along with the corresponding YouTube content in which the shooter, Mauricio Garcia, posted to his face and his name. Although investigators have yet to announce a motive for the killing, the OKRU account chronicles are more than 3 years are an apparent fixation on what? Nazis. But Bilal, what does this have to do with just pearly things? I'm getting to that. Just relax, okay? Relax. We're getting to that. Some of the account's most recent posts appear to have foreshadowed the mass killing. On April 16th, it uploaded a series of pictures outside of Allen Outlet Mall's H&M entrance, where Garcia would later open fire. It also shared screenshots of a page indicating the mall's busiest hour, along with a location and data showing at least 2 previous visits to the site. In late April, the account shared pictures of the body armor laden with magazines for a rifle. The bulletproof vest had a patch reading RWDS, an acronym for Right Wing Death Squad. Law enforcement had previously referenced the patch and then identified Garcia as a potential politically motivated extremist. The following day, the account posted pictures of a torso of presumably Garcia's own tattooed with a swastika and Nazi SS bolts alongside the caption railing against diversity. The OKRU user also uploaded a picture of his hand, which appeared to bear the same tattoo as the shooter, in an old identification card named Mauricio. The picture of the receipt for multiple guns uploaded in January has the name Mauricio, along with poorly redacted phone number that appears to match one identified as the shooters. Okay, now here, let's pay attention to this, y'all. Okay, many of the posts addressed to his Hispanic heritage. Okay? This is what we want. He was Hispanic, y'all. He was Hispanic. Now listen, which some commentators previously cited when expressing doubts about his neo-Nazi leanings. See, this is what y'all thought. Y'all thought because he was Hispanic that he could not be a neo-Nazi. And we've been telling y'all that white supremacy is a system. It is not something that is exclusive to white people. You have black white supremacists. You have Hispanic white supremacists. You have brown white supremacists. And yes, you do in fact have Muslim white supremacists. Don't let people's color fool you. In one recent post, he mused about the Latino people being white. Y'all hear that? And what did he do? Looky here, y'all. This is where it gets interesting. And cited Nick Fuentes, a white supremacist with what? Hispanic heritage. And this is a direct quote from him. He says, hell, Nick Fuentes says something like that while he was on The Pearl Show. He wrote, I think I even read in the news Hispanics could be the new white supremacists. He is just giddy to get in good with the white supremacists. Well, now that he found out that hell is real, and now that he knows that there is no paradise in the hereafter for white supremacists, the question is, when black folk were putting Just Pearly Things on blast for her blatant racism, where was the black Klanosphere? They were out there running defense for Pearly. They wanted to chase the bag and see how that backfired. Didn't work out so well now, did it? What this Just Pearly Things did, it exposed a lot of grifters on black YouTube. A lot of them. Folks who were saying that black folks, mind you, talking about black people don't need no reparations. And when black people had their legitimate gripes with Just Pearly Things, talking about slavery being embellished, so much so that she even deleted the very same video that this, what's his name, Mauricio something, Mauricio Lopez, what's his name? Let's get his name again. What's his name, y'all? Mauricio Garcia. The very same Mauricio Garcia saw that and used it as a talking point to say that Hispanics could be the new white supremacists. Just the other day, this black dude told me the line is blurring. He can't tell the difference anymore. Someone will look white, but they're actually Hispanic. He is giddy about that. And you know who else? Yes, Salaam. Y'all ain't ready for this, man. Do you know who else is riding Zaddy's jock? trying to get in good with white supremacist daddy. It's your brown Muslims. I said it's your brown Muslims, okay? I didn't stutter. There is a large contingent of Indo-Pak Muslims and even Arabs who are all gung-ho for white supremacy. Y'all don't believe me? Look at this, y'all. Look at this. This is what your so-called Muslim brothers are sharing online. They don't side with the murdered. They side with your murderers. No, I'm allowed to stomp around in public places and terrorize civilians on their way to work and school. I always able to act. See, he thought this was funny. But just like Mr. Mauricio Garcia, when these white supremacists in thobes and beard realize that there is no Jannah for a white supremacist, boy, will they be surprised. Boy, will they be surprised. You have these foreigners who, just like Zaddy, built their entire communities off the backs and the wealth and the oppression of black people. They take all the programs that were meant for you and send it back to their communities. But not only that, they laud our murderers. They laud our murderers, and they just can't help how warm and fuzzy they feel inside when one of us is murdered. They can't help themselves. So we don't call those folks our brothers. Nor do we call any black-looking person who sides with open white supremacists to the point where a white supremacist in brown face, mind you, takes the words of the white supremacists that you invited to your channel as evidence that he is white. You cannot make this stuff up. Bilal, are you saying that just Pearly was the cause of this mass murder? Of course not. I'm not that naive.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm not that naive. Okay? I'm not so slow to think that she was the cause. However, if you look at the last how many, I want to say the last 5 mass shooters, race-based mass shooters. Do you know whose name always seems to come up? It's always Donald Trump, Nick Fuentes. These are not crazy, insane people. They take the time out to write manifestos and hope to get martyred in the cause of culling black and brown populations. And when we are horrified, what you don't understand is just like this, there are people who we think are our brothers. While we are horrified, they see them as heroes. Just like this. They see them as heroes. Our killers are their heroes. And any one of you who thinks that these folks are your brothers, and are you talking about hustle done to us? Please leave that treachery where you got it. We don't need any more of your treachery. Did not Carol Bryant get away with murder? Did not whatchamacallit? What's that guy's name, man? The guy who killed Trayvon Brown. I can't even remember his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh man, I have a brain fart. I apologize. How can I not remember his name?
You're weird.
Oh my gosh. What's his name, y'all? Put it in the chat, man. Oh my gosh. Zimmerman. George Zimmerman. Okay. Did not George Zimmerman get away with murder? Did not the killers of Breonna Taylor get away with murder? Did not the killer of Neely get away with murder? So people who believe in Allah and the last day, if they believe in Allah and the last day, and they're fearing Allah, they should be horrified by this, but they're not. They're not horrified by this. They're cheering it on. Can you imagine? You hate yourself and you hate your people so much that you go into the mall with a swastika tattoo all over your body to murder people who look just like you. Can you imagine that? So now, us as black folk, we gotta ask, well, what are we gonna do about it? You see this thing about y'all, we need to wake up, we need to wake up. That ship has sailed. There's no more we need to wake up. We gotta, pull people out of the gutter or whatnot, save her. No, that ship has long, long, long gone. There's no more we need to wake up. What it is that those of us who are on the same page need to work together. We need a code of conduct. We need to build. We need to work together. We need to end individualism amongst black folk. Racism is a team sport. And for the past 5 centuries, solid, there has been one constant, and that is the assurance that all other races will always be ahead of the black race. That's the constant. And you will find even your so-called Muslim brothers will try to justify racism religiously. Now you see how just pearly things was implicated by the Texas shooter, Mauricio Garcia, correct? A Hispanic. What I know about Hispanics is that there are going to be plenty of them that are horrified that a Hispanic did this on behalf of white supremacy. This is what I know. And I also know that not a single immigrant, at least from your YouTubian daddy elites, would bat an eyelash. They won't bat an eyelash. Weren't these the same people that were pushing the Muslim skeptic in front of you while he was saying fentanyl Floyd, while he was saying Breonna Taylor invites drug dealers to her house, while he was saying stabby girl Ma'Khia Bryant? Didn't they excuse all of that? Didn't Eddie from the Dean Show invite an avid white supremacist, a black white supremacist, mind you, and Jesse Lee Peterson to a show, and he said we have a lot in common? Didn't he do that? Did any of your YouTubian daddy elites put him on blast for that? And now that the Muslim skeptic has all but become a pariah in Muslim YouTube now, oh, surprise, surprise, you notice that none of these bones and biscuits came out and said, you know what, the Feachaz, I'm sorry, you was right. And they won't. So what does that tell you? You think these people are trustworthy? It tells you very clearly that they're not trustworthy. And they will stab you in the back in an instant. They will throw you under the bus in an instant. They won't even think twice about it. And as a matter of fact, they've been doing this since they got here. Who buried Malcolm X? Why did Malcolm X have to get buried in a church? Why? Because the Muslims loved him so much? Oh, they love them now. Now that it's trendy. Are we the ones who are causing division? By pointing out the obvious? This is why we tell y'all, when you have stuff like this, when you have people who will sign off on stuff like this, and now your name is attached to a mass killer, it's only a matter of time you start seeing, and mark my words, you heard it here first, it's only a matter of time you start seeing some incel Pakistani or whatever listening to the Muslim skeptic or whatnot who goes out and does the same thing. It's only a matter of time. You're talking about people who have put the religion inside a left-right paradigm. Not the Quran and the Sunnah, not Tawheed and Shirk, not Sunnah and Bid'ah. But whether or not it's Islamically permissible to crap all over black folk. If there was ever a wake-up call, it would be this. Especially for converts. No matter where they're from, black, white, it don't make a difference. Especially for converts. None of that makes a difference. Because if you look at these mass shootings, people who go down the rabbit hole of algorithms are doomed to be misled and indoctrinated. Look at this. This is from Statista. Can you imagine how Muslims now are reading Thomas Sowell? Thomas Sowell. They didn't ask black folks what they thought about Thomas Sowell. They didn't go to the black Muslim. Black Muslim, what do you think about Thomas Sowell? They interjected. They put themselves forward. And from those things that Thomas Sowell likes to say is that, well, statistically, black people, they've involved in mass shootings higher than white folks. We're talking about gangs and all. This is what he's saying, okay? This is from Statista, okay? Number of mass shootings in the USA between 1982 to April 23 by shooters, race or ethnicity. White folks, not even close. Not even close. Just the white folks only takes, is more than every other ethnic group combined. And it still wouldn't reach as much as white folks. But here's the killer. No pun intended. These mass shooters, they are methodical. They are intentional. They come prepared with bulletproof vests and manifestos, and they're very proud to kill innocent people. And now you have Muslims who are very proud at the death of innocent people. Y'all see the connection? So when you find your YouTubian da'i elites who are jizzing in their pants to get, their latest alt-right red pill superstar, Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Jordan Peterson, these types, without having any concern about their behavior, nor is there any type of correction in sight at all. At all. Then what is the wider message you're sending to these brain dead 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who don't know anything about, they don't know what a book is, but rather all their information, it comes from social media? What is the message you're sending to them? You're telling them, look, man, let me go get my cigar and my tight shirts and, follow these dudes. Because, they are the new Khalid bin Walid. It's them. So as long as they say that they're Muslim, you got to follow them. Just like this guy here, Mauricio Garcia, as long as he says he's a white supremacist, he thinks he's in good with the Nazis and stuff. But at least he's, brave enough to say it. Unlike some of these closet Nazi Muslims, still in the closet, even though the cat's out the bag. But I don't understand why they even in the closet for. I have no clue why they're not why they still in the closet. But anyways, I don't want to go on too long. I apologize for the snafu with the sound. We'll get it sorted, inshallah, I promise. Okay, subhanak wa bihamdik wa shadallah ila ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.